Yeah, but really, first off, just glad we're having the opportunity to play. It was kind of a an unusual scheduling situation this year where we were supposed to start on the road. I don't think we've done that maybe one other time here, maybe none. I can't really remember off the top of my head. Usually we start at home before we hit the road. And this year we might be very fortunate, obviously, with the weather that we are scheduled to play on the road in a dome stadium. So we're hoping to get out of town tomorrow morning and get to Arlington, have a workout tomorrow afternoon, and then hopefully get all 3 ball games in and we're off and running. I know the players are really excited to start the season after losing last season, and as I'm sure every team in the country is. So looking forward to watching our guys play and figure out what we need to work on and go from there.
Coach, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Coach, you kind of touched on it there, but with all the issues with electricity and stuff down in Arlington, you are still confident that the event is going to happen this weekend?
Well, we haven't been told anything different. We talked to them, some of the, administrators of the tournament a couple of times yesterday, and they said, they're still ready to go. Now, I know some of the teams are having some issues in their own hometown areas, so to speak, on getting out of town. As far as the tournament and electricity and power at the ballpark, they're good to go. And obviously that could change the day, but right now we're planning on heading out.
And then also, have you settled on your rotation for this weekend?
Yes, first game we're going to go with Zebulon Vermillion. Second game we'll go with Peyton Paulette. Third game we're going to go with Lyle Lockhart, left-hander.
Bob.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
I'm good.
Obviously, Nolan Wicklander, they were 2 of your top guys, last year. Does that just speak to the talent and depth you have, or those guys maybe taking a step back, or kind of what's going on with that?
I think it's more about depth and just kind of going with the guys that have, been more consistent at the beginning. I think both of the guys you just mentioned are going to be a huge part of our pitching staff, whether they're starting or they're coming in for long relief. Some roles are still out there, and I mentioned that to our team yesterday when we met, that, things change throughout time. It's a long season. We've got to see where we're at by how guys perform against other teams, and all we have to go on right now is what we've seen in the past and maybe the way the guys pitched and played in the fall and then the last month. So we're just trying to go with the guys we feel like that as of right now, maybe just a step ahead of some guys. But it doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to be the whole season, obviously.
I guess, who have you settled on in right field?
Say what?
Who have you settled on in right field?
Oh, in right field, we'll go with Wallace right now. He's, he'll be the only freshman that starts in game one as far as position player wise. But he's been very consistent. I think Zach Gregory is going to see a lot of time. He hits left-handed. Wallace hits right. I'm not saying they're going to platoon. I think both of them can hit left on left, right on right, obviously. But I think Wallace brings a little more power to the lineup, and we kind of need that. And where we're planning on hitting him is maybe 6th, 7th in the order, and it brings a little bit of a threat there.
Hey, thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Nate.
Yeah, Dave, as far as first base, where is that looking like? And also with Goodhart, is there any chance of him playing in the field, or is his arm just still not ready?
Yeah, to answer your first question, I mean, it's at first, at least this opening weekend, it'll be Cullen Smith and Brady Slavens and Goodhart. All three of them potentially play over there. They all three hit left-handed. Smith is a guy that I've mentioned. He can play 2 or 3 infield positions. Slavens is a couple infield positions plus maybe outfield. He brings a pretty good bat. Smith is probably ahead of him a little bit defensively right now. Goodhart's arm is still a little bit of the issue. It comes and goes. But that's what the other guys have on Matt right now, is that, they can throw a little better.
Thank you.
Andre.
Hey, Coach, how are you? I wanted to ask you about Lyle Lockhart and just what we've seen out of him so far, and just what he brings with his experience, to your rotation this season.
Well, you mentioned a little bit. He brings some pretty good experience. I mean, he was pitching Friday, Saturday, a lot for the University of Houston last year and the year before. Very versatile. He could pitch out of the pen, be a spot guy, middle reliever. Obviously, we're starting him. His last outing was really good. There was 2 or 3 guys we could have put in that spot. One of them's a freshman if we really wanted to. If you really go on how guys have performed, maybe we should throw a freshman there. But we just decided, with the whole situation, let maybe the younger guys watch a little bit. Obviously we have 4 games next weekend, so we'll need another starter there. And then, we'll go to the pen as soon as we need to. We won't have to wait a batter or 2 longer or try to squeeze another inning out of a guy because we have depth there and guys that are ready to go. So I just saw that Lyle threw extremely well this past weekend, and sometimes it's good to see what you got from the left side.
Tom.
Hi, Dave. I was wondering what you thought of the schedule down there. They didn't leave the Texas game Saturday and the TCU game. They switched it around. And you start with Texas Tech. I wonder what you thought of that. And then I have something on the back side of that question too.
Yeah, I don't know what went on there because we didn't find out. That was the frustrating thing. It didn't matter to us who we play and when. For the most part, it's we didn't know until basically the day we were releasing our schedule, and then we find out. I think they just slipped up and didn't tell us. We found out, I think, through Texas Tech when they saw our schedule and said, we don't play you Friday or we don't play you Saturday whenever we thought we were supposed to play them. We play you Friday. And we're like, what? And, that's how it all went down. So that was a little frustrating. But, I think whether we played Texas Tech on a game 2, which was supposed to be a Saturday night, or the University of Texas is still going to be a sold-out game, especially with the number of tickets that they were limited to sell. So I don't know if anything went on there. I really don't know, and I guess really I don't care. All 3 teams are extremely good, and they'll be wanting to just like us. They're going to try to get after every game.
Yeah. My second question was about the 4 games schedule next week, starting Thursday. If you have guys in mind, if maybe they don't pitch after Saturday or Sunday down there, to start the Southeast Missouri games? Yeah,
so we have to see how it goes on Saturday, but, we quick turnaround for a starter. So, we were real close to maybe starting Jackson Wiggins on the mound, true freshman, big kid, got a really good arm, and he can pitch. So, we tell our kids when we recruit them and when they get here, we don't care if you're a freshman or a senior, you go out and show you can do it. We'll play you or pitch you. And so I think we'll try to get Wiggins out there this weekend for maybe an inning or 2, but there's a good chance he might start on Thursday and try to get, Zeb a little more rest if that's what we decide to do. Or we could put a couple other guys in. We got Bolden, who's, right there to start, and, Ramage can start, and a couple other guys too. So, but we're going to do what we have to do each game to try to win it. And, we'll figure it out when we're traveling back on Monday.
Clay.
Dave, what does Goodhart bring at the plate, and how has he matured and developed over the last couple of years?
Well, what he brings is a real mature approach, stays in the zone for the most part really well. Teams know about him. They're going to try to pitch around him a little bit and get him to chase, and he doesn't chase a whole lot. He'll take a walk. He's one of those guys that he can have an at-bat and you go, wow, well, that wasn't a real good at-bat. The next at-bat, he'll hit one 400 feet or hit one opposite the field off the top of the wall. I mean, he doesn't let it phase him too much. He's learned how to handle it. It's DHing is not real easy. You have to learn how to be able to go back, sit on the bench, wait your time again, a couple innings, and then go up and hit without being in the field, running off and on. there's more to it than just going up to the plate and hitting. And he's done a great job with it. I think the SEC coaches selected him the first team SEC DH/utility. It just basically means designated hitter for the most part. So he's well respected in the league.
Jason.
Hey, Coach, you touched on it a little bit, but when you have guys like Wicklander, Nolan, Bolden, a lot of these guys that want to start, what goes into really developing a buy-in from those guys to whatever role it is that they end up getting, and how much of that development is going to take place over the next month?
Well, we've had a few discussions about that with the whole team and then individual position groups about, being a good teammate and being, a team player and pulling for each other. And, sometimes things don't start out the way you want them, but you got to work your way in. And, it's a long season, but, if we're going to be good, those guys are going to have to buy into whatever role they have. We get it. We get that every kid wants to be a starter if you're a pitcher for the most part, and position players, they want to play every day. Sometimes it just takes time, but before it's all over with, they'll all be in the role that they've earned here, and it'll make us better. I have a lot of respect for the guys you just mentioned and the type of people they are, and I do believe that they're going to act right and do the right thing and keep working, and we'll be fair with them, and I think they know that.
Coach, we'll come back to you.
Yeah, Dave, I was wondering if you could maybe touch on Peyton Paulette a little bit. What's his velo like now compared to what it was last season, and what has he done to really secure that spot in the rotation?
Well, his velo, and I'll touch on everything when it comes to pitching. It's not all about velo, it's velocity. But his velocity when he came in here was probably 91, 92. It's pretty consistent now, mid-90s. When I say, if he throws 20 fastballs, I'm going to say that 17 of them are going to be above 95. If you're talking about the first few innings, we'll see. He's been able to maintain his velocity. He's gone a little above that. He's got a really good breaking ball, and what he does is he throws strikes and he competes. He can field his position. The future's bright if he stays healthy. And
then also Zebulon, I think about 3 weeks ago, you had said that, if it's going to be up to, if he can show you, he can give you 5 innings. So has he kind of shown you that over the last few weeks that he can give you multiple innings like that?
Yeah, we feel like he has to build that up. And, if he only gives us 3 or 4 this first weekend, we're good with that. We'll just continue to build him up. I just want his innings to be quality. And if he struggles going into the 3rd or 4th inning, we'll get somebody ready and get him when we need to go. If he rolls, we'll let it roll. Zebulon's he's a team player 100%. And if he starts, he's fine with that. If he ends up pitching at the end of the game, he's good with that as well. And he'll be a big part of this pitching staff, that's for sure.
Tom, back to you.
Dave, Texas Tech, obviously very highly regarded. What you know of them and what pitcher you expect to see there?
Well, we kind of, first off, they're extremely talented. They've got most of their team back and a couple weekend starters, and then they got a couple of transfers. I think they've got a big lefty that transferred in from another 4-year school, and we've been told that's who we see now. I can't think of his name off my head, but it's Texas Tech over the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, they're going to come at you and they're going to try to steal third base and steal. And they've also got some guys with some power. They play in a ballpark that, likes guys that can hit it over your head, and that's what they recruit. And they also have some guys that can run. They've got some power arms. And, a lot of teams do this year. A lot of teams are like just older. And, I expect to get their best shot right out of the gate.
Yeah, you guys have typically gone about 70 pitches maybe for your starters opening weekend. What range might they have this week?
70, 75. But it's was that a tough 75? Were they just fighting it every inning, or was it kind of a smooth 3 up, 3 down, few innings? Maybe one guy gets on here or there, or were they struggling a lot? Then they got a double play ball. Were they struggling again? They got another double play ball. You just have to evaluate what you see. The number does matter, but did they really labor those pitches? And So if somebody could go, if they struggle at 65, we'll get them out at 75, and probably would be about the max if it went well.
Clay.
Coach, on Goodhart, where do you hit him in the lineup, and maybe why?
Yeah, probably hit him third this weekend. Been hitting him third all pretty much fall and early this January, February. Just like him in that spot a little bit. I mean, Matt could be a leadoff type guy as well because he knows the zone, but we'd like him to drive in some runs and just be a tough out behind him. Maybe Moore and Franklin hit in front of him. He makes there. You got a switch hitter leading off and right-hander behind him that uses the whole field with power, and then a left-hander behind those two. And we just think it makes it difficult maybe for the other team to maneuver through that.
Curtis, anything you want to get in?
Yeah, Coach, I was just curious. Obviously, the weather and everything has impacted everyone, but just specifically to you with being indoors as long as you have now, have you accomplished everything you set out to accomplish in the preseason? And, how comfortable are you with your readiness, I guess, going into the weekend?
I don't think as a coach you ever think you're 100% ready or you've gotten everything in as much as you want. I'm sure you touch on things, but I've got a list of things I've written down that I wish we would have had a little more time and, trying to scrimmage, and we have an hour limit of how many hours we can work out a day with the guys. We run out of time, and you just try to mix it in. It's all the little things like dirt ball reads, getting a second on a ball in the dirt with 2 strikes. Just all the little things in baseball that can score you a run here or there, make you better. Hitting the cutoff man, and we haven't been able to work on cutoffs and relays for 10 days, but we did it a lot early. Hopefully, when it comes time, somebody hits one in the gap, we hit the cutoff man, the next guy makes a good throw and get an out. You just never know how that's going to go. These games are important, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't go great. It just kind of shows you, how balanced maybe the country is this year with college baseball, and we got to continue to get better. I've said this before. I've been to that Minute Maid Classic a few times, and I remember one year we went 3-0. We didn't have a good year, and one year we went 1-2. We had a great year. Not even went 0-3 at a tournament before, and ended up being in Omaha. So you got to continue to get better and learn from your team. Your team shows you what you need to work on, and I'm sure this weekend will be a good indication of that.